Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the day's headlines. SPG Amendment Bill 2019 gets Parliament approval. Rajya Sabha passes the bill. Replying to the discussion, Home Minister Amit Shah asserts that security of Gandhi family has only been changed, not removed. Emphasizes government is duty-bound to protect all 130 crore Indians. Parliament also passes bill to merge Union Territories Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Lok Sabha passes Ship Recycling Bill 2019 that bans use of hazardous material in shipbuilding. Law will not apply to naval warships and non-commercial vessels operated by the government. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu calls for citizens' participation to make India malnutrition-free by 2022. Launches the Poshan Anthem in New Delhi. Stresses good quality, affordable maternal health care services for all women. BJP government ended Naxalite reign of terror in Jharkhand and lifted the climate of fear, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi. At election rally in Khunti, the Prime Minister also targets opposition parties. In Jamshedpur, highlights government's efforts to benefit unorganized sector workers through the Pradhan Mantri Shram Yogi Mandhan Yojana. And central government committed to expanding economic reforms in various sectors including banking, mining and insurance, says Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Invites Swedish companies to invest in India's development at India-Sweden Business Conference. And the top story of the day from Parliament. The Parliament has passed the Special Protection Group Amendment Bill 2019 with the Rajya Sabha approving it today. The Lok Sabha has already passed the bill. Rejecting all of the opposition's charges, Home Minister Amit Shah asserted that the government was concerned about the security of all 130 crore Indians and not just the Gandhi family. The Home Minister also said that in a democracy, SPG cover cannot go on endlessly for a particular family. He said 3 members of the Gandhi family have been given Z+ top-grade security cover with ambulance and are guarded by personnel who were part of the SPG previously.
एसपीजी का जो गठन है उसमें 33.33% बीएसएफ से हैं, सीआरपीएफ से 33.34% लोग हैं, सीआईएफएस से 17% लोग हैं, आईटीबीपी से 9.33% लोग हैं, 6% एसएसबी से है और अन्य राज्यों की पुलिस से 1%। ढेर सारे लोग हर संगठन के अंदर हैं जो एसपीजी की ट्रेनिंग लिए हुए हैं, एसपीजी की जगह तरह ही चुस्तो दुरुस्त है। और मैं फिर से एक बार बता देता हूं, ये तीनों प्रोटेक्टी को वो ही लोग दिए गए हैं जो कभी न कभी एसपीजी में रहकर ट्रेनिंग लिए हैं और एसपीजी के अंदर रहकर यहां पर आए। क्लियर करना चाहता हूं कि सुरक्षा हटाई नहीं गई है, सुरक्षा बदली गई है। जितने ही जवान उनके यहाँ तैनात थे, इतनी ही संख्या में जवान तैनात है और वो ये सुरक्षा है जो देश के रक्षा मंत्री के पास है, देश के गृह मंत्री के पास है, देश के उपराष्ट्रपति के पास है और देश के राष्ट्रपति के पास है। किसी भी व्यक्ति के लिए देश में सबसे हाईएस्ट सिक्योरिटी है। परंतु मैं इतना जरूर कहना चाहता हूं कि अगली 4 बार जो परिवर्तन हुए थे वो एक परिवार को ध्यान में रखकर किए गए थे, एक परिवार के लिए ही।
That threat emanates from the militant or terrorist organization.
The proposed amendments in the SPG bill will provide security to Prime Minister and members of his immediate family residing with him at his official residence. It will also provide security for a period of 5 years to former Prime Ministers and their immediate family members residing with them at the residence allotted to them. The bill says that when the proximate security is withdrawn from a former Prime Minister, Such security will also stand withdrawn from members of their immediate family. Several members participated in the debate and gave suggestions on the bill.
किस प्रकार का प्रजातंत्र हम चाहते हैं कि हम अपने विपक्ष की जो लीडर्स हैं उनको सुरक्षा हटाने के लिए हम अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ला रहे हैं।
सबको सुरक्षा चाहिए, सबको बड़ी अच्छी लगती है सुरक्षा, मुझे भी लगती है। क्यों नहीं सुरक्षा चेक होना चाहिए हमारा? क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए? हम भी जाएं, 1 मिनट लगेगा, आप भी सुरक्षा चेक करा के आप चले जाएं प्लेन में। लेकिन ये जो एंटाइटलमेंट का है और ये चीज आज का नौजवान नहीं चाहता है।
In a single family, 2 prime ministers were assassinated. One is Indira ji, second is Rajiv ji. The entire country and all the political parties and the government will not consider that point during the amendment or not.
Today, what is the threat perception? It must be very serious, otherwise Z plus would not be given. But none of those threat perceptions which went earlier when Mr. Narasimha Rao amended the act to give this special coverage of SPG to Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and the family.
चाहे इधर के लोगों को खतरा हो, चाहे इधर के लोगों को खतरा हो, किसी तरह का कोई भेदभाव नहीं होना चाहिए। मैं आपकी इस बात से सहमत हूं कि प्रधानमंत्री एक सर्वोच्च पद है, उसको जो सिक्योरिटी मिली हुई है उसके बराबर की सिक्योरिटी की ही कोई मांग करता है तो मैं उससे सहमत नहीं हो सकता, लेकिन सिक्योरिटी होनी चाहिए।
Indira ji, Rajiv ji and many other people who have sacrificed their life for this country, ये है कंसिडरेशन सर। बस इसका मतलब नहीं है कि युग युगांतर तक ये चलता रहेगा, आपको सिक्योरिटी मिलता रहेगा। ये गलत। इस देश में काफी और भी फैमिली हैं जिनका बलिदान इतिहास में लिखा हुआ है।
Sir, why this double standard? Why, sir? Sir, I am requesting the government, I am requesting the Honorable Minister to be broad, not to bring this kind of issues political.
That threat emanates from the militant or terrorist organization, and B, the threat is of grave and continuing nature. Now, these are the two parameters on the basis of which the security is provided.
Any protection, whatever be this level of protection, whether it could be X plus Y or Y plus or Z plus or SPG cover, should be given only based on the threat perception, not just because a particular person is born in a particular family and that family has ruled the country for a quite long time.
The bill to merge the union territories of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu was passed in Rajya Sabha on Tuesday. The two union territories located on the western coast of the country near Gujarat are being merged for better administration and monitoring and also stopping the duplication of various functions. Both union territories are just 35 kilometers apart and they have separate budgets and also separate secretariats. The bill has already been passed by Lok Sabha.
The merger will not only ensure easy and convenient access to the public, but also fruitful utilization of the manpower, infrastructure and productivity of purpose. And also better delivery of the services to the citizens of the two UTs by improving administrative efficiency and reduction of the paperwork. Reduction of the administrative expenditure of merger of parallel departments in the two UTs, bringing more uniformity in policies and schemes, better monitoring schemes for projects in ensuring the benefits reach the all intended beneficiaries.
वहाँ पर जितना विकास होना चाहिए मेरी दृष्टि से तो हुआ नहीं है और इसकी वजह से मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ कि इसको एक यूनिट करने से उसमें ज़्यादा कोई असरकारकता आएगी, गरीबी घटेगी, इंडस्ट्री सबसे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वहाँ पर आएगी। एक करने से कोई होगा ऐसा नहीं है सर।
मगर इन दोनों को अपनी अपनी एक अलग अस्तित्व की अनुमति मिल गई और ये दोनों प्रदेश यद्यपि दोनों एक दूसरे से बहुत निकट होने के बावजूद भी वैसे ही वैसे रहे। मैं मानता हूं कि एक ऐतिहासिक बैकलॉग जो था आज इस बिल के कारण हम उसको क्लियर कर रहे हैं।
So this is a very serious issue, and basically mini assembly is the main issue here, and Mumbai High Court, people have to travel long distance to Mumbai. Ordinary people, it's not possible for them to go all the way to Mumbai to seek justice. So these reforms are required, more modernity, more modernization, and this saving costs, administrative costs, saying officers have to move on alternate days from one day to the other.
Now, if it may be verified and if it is possible, the jurisdiction may be given to the nearest High Court. So it is Bombay High Court, definitely heavily loaded and backlog of arrears. Our Indian judiciary is known for arrears and delay. So it may be avoided, and it is up to the central government to examine it, subject to correction.
The first thing, sir, that we seek to achieve out of it is the tourism sector, sir. Vinayji has already spoken about it. I'll not take much time. But the fact is, Daman and Diu have a tremendous potential for tourism, especially for the island that is existing there. A lot of people want to come in, but there are certain restrictions that are there which is not open, that could be opened up. Secondly, in terms of infrastructure, that could be looked at, sir. And finally, because of this merger, sir, the financial autonomy and the financial discipline that will come in, it will really help both the UTs to come together and function better.
Now the government is taking a good step to make them united. But the people want more. It's natural also. Now they have become a bigger UT. But in many UTs, the aspiration is for the assembly. And they will demand for a statehood tomorrow. Why? Because in many places on the UTs we can see it is the Raj is there, Raj of the administrator.
People living in that area, and if those people's sentiments are not taken care of, and if there is going to be only a top-down approach and not a bottom-up approach when you're talking about governance issues, I think this reflects that the bill is somewhere missing, and it is only talking of physically merging the union territories and governing by way of an administrator. It will be easy on cost cutting, but that does not say that yes, we are going to uplift the lives of the people who are living here.
The informal group of members of Rajya Sabha formed to deal with challenges of regulating access of children to pornography on the internet held its first meeting on 2nd December. The group was formed at the behest of Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu. The group has 14 members of the upper house from 10 political parties. In the first meeting, the group decided upon the stakeholders to be consulted. It also noted that the internet offers significant developmental and educational benefits for children, but the growing access to the World Wide Web and social media has led to increased exposure to unsafe content like pornography, also creating potential risks of online harassment, abuse and exploitation. The members also voiced concern over the generation of online child sexual abuse material, which can be accessed by anyone on the internet. The government informed the upper house on Tuesday that a total amount of 17,900 crore rupees was defrauded by 51 absconders in 66 cases. The information was provided by Minister of State for Finance Anurag Singh Thakur in a written reply to a question on fugitive economic offenders. As reported by the Department of Financial Services, the expected losses on stressed loans not provided earlier under flexibility given to restructure loans were reclassified as NPAs and provided for. Public sector banks initiated cleaning up by recognizing NPAs and provided for expected losses. The minister added that the ED and the CBI had filed applications in respect of these cases in the competent courts, and the proceedings were either under investigation or trial. Talking about other central agencies, the minister said that the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, that the CBIC, had reported about 6 fugitive economic offenders who had left the country illegally. And a bill that seeks to regulate recycling of ships according to international standards was passed by the Lok Sabha on Tuesday. The Recycling of Ships Bill 2019 was passed by voice vote. Shipping Minister Mansukh Mandavia asserted that the proposed law will help the ship recycling industry and also generate more jobs. While most of the amendments moved by opposition members were withdrawn, some of which were tabled were defeated. Responding to the debate on the bill, Mandavia said adhering to the Hong Kong Convention will help the country get more ships for recycling. The minister added that India gets 10% of its steel from this business and expressed confidence that the legislation will help grow the country's share of trade.
हमने यहाँ से रेटिफाई कर दे रहे हैं या तो हम बिल पास कर रहे हैं, बिल पास करने के बाद भी कब लागू करना है, क्योंकि अभी हांगकांग कन्वेंशन का तो जब होना है हो तब हो, लेकिन हमने तो कर दिया है, हमारा सभी शिपयार्ड तो हांगकांग कन्वेंशन के अनुसार ही है, तो हम क्लोज वाइज उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन धीरे धीरे शुरू करेंगे और हमारी इंडस्ट्रीज आगे बढ़ती जाएगी, कोई चिंता करने का विषय नहीं है.
In some other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed 2 election rallies in poll-bound Jharkhand on Tuesday, one in Khunti and the other in Jamshedpur. Speaking in Jamshedpur, the Prime Minister said, it is a land of labour and enterprise and has fulfilled dreams of millions of people, enhancing India's reputation in the world. He also said the BJP dispensation has taken the central government out of Delhi to every corner of India, and Jharkhand has benefited from this change in the system.
भाजपा की सरकार ने समाज के उस वर्ग की चिंता की है जिसको हमेशा सिर्फ नारों से ही लुभाया गया है. हमारे जो असंगठित क्षेत्र के श्रमिक साथी हैं, जो सड़कों पर काम करते हैं, घरों में, दुकानों में काम करते हैं, रिक्शा ठेला चलाते हैं, ऐसे श्रमिक साथियों की चिंता पहली बार भाजपा सरकार ने की है. श्रम योगी मानधन योजना से ऐसे साथियों को 60 वर्ष के बाद पेंशन की सुविधा दी गई है. इतना ही नहीं, सरकार की जो दूसरी योजनाएं हैं उसका भी सबसे अधिक लाभ इसी वर्ग को हो रहा है.
In Khunti, the Prime Minister launched a blistering attack on the opposition JMM Congress alliance in Jharkhand, alleging it followed the politics of deception while the BJP believed in service of people. Lauding the Raghubar Das government for breaking the back of Naxalism in Jharkhand, the Prime Minister added that the people of the state have faith that BJP alone can ensure the state's development.
लोकतंत्र को मजबूत करने और राष्ट्र निर्माण में अपने योगदान के प्रति झारखंड के लोगों की आस्था अभूतपूर्व है. जिस प्रकार भाजपा सरकार ने नक्सलवाद की कमर तोड़ी है, उसे बहुत ही छोटे इलाके तक समेट दिया है, उससे डर का माहौल कम हुआ है. विकास का माहौल बना है कि झारखंड के लोगों में भाजपा सरकार के प्रति, कमल के फूल के प्रति एक विश्वास की भावना है. ये भाव है कि झारखंड का विकास अगर कोई दल कर सकता है तो वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ भाजपा ही कर सकती है.
The BJP Parliamentary Party met in Parliament on Tuesday. During the meeting, the issue of absenteeism among BJP MPs from Parliament was raised, with senior leader Rajnath Singh underlining Prime Minister Narendra Modi's dissatisfaction over lack of their adequate presence at many times. Reports suggest Rajnath Singh also asked party MPs to be present in large numbers when Home Minister Amit Shah tables the Citizenship Amendment Bill, as he asserted that this draft legislation is as important as the move to abrogate Article 370. Asking the BJP MPs to ensure their presence in Parliament, as it is going to take up key bills in the coming days, he said the Prime Minister had time and again spoken against absenteeism among the parliamentarians, but the issue still persists. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu urged the governments and policymakers to keep the welfare of the children as top priority in their development efforts. He also called for citizens' proactive participation in eradicating the scourge of malnutrition. Addressing the gathering after releasing Poshan Anthem at an event organized by the Ministry of Women and Child Development on Tuesday, the Vice President said that adequate nutrition to every child must be the first step in ensuring a healthy nation. He described healthy population as a prerequisite for fulfilling the country's economic and social development goals.
I am very happy that the government has taken initiative to address this concern to the Poshan Abhiyan. As you are all aware, children are the future and their health is prerequisite for the development of prosperity of the nation. It is our responsibility of all of us to ensure that our children get the best childhood possible. I urge upon the government, centre, states, local bodies, members of parliament, legislature to keep the welfare of the children of their constituencies as an overriding priority in our developmental efforts. As the country aspires to fulfill its economic and social development goals, malnutrition is a key domain that requires greater attention.
The Vice President also appreciated the role of Poshan Abhiyan in improving nutritional outcomes for children, pregnant women, and also lactating mothers. He also emphasized that activities such as Poshan Abhiyan must assume the shape of people's movement to achieve the target of malnutrition-free India by the year 2022.
There is a need to invest in training and capacity building of Anganwadi workers. The success of Poshan Abhiyan is dependent on the collective efforts of all, including optimum utilization of Anganwadi services. There is an urgent need to strengthen Anganwadi services to focus on 4 Ds, using data, strengthening delivery of services, timely and strategic decision making, and at the level of competent authorities generate demand for nutrition services.
The Vice President also conferred the National Awards on individuals and institutions for outstanding achievement towards empowerment of persons with disabilities. Addressing the event, the Vice President said that International Day of Persons with Disabilities must be renamed as International Day of Persons with Special Abilities to reflect the enormous potential and capabilities that differently abled people possess, and also to dispel the stigma that society attaches to disability. Expressing deep concern at the evidently severe problems faced by the differently abled in terms of their social and economic conditions, the Vice President said that we must build an inclusive society that is respectful and sensitive towards the needs of the differently abled. The award is presented every year by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and this year's awards are being given under 14 categories.
हमारे बीच ऐसे कितने ही विशेष प्रतिभा और क्षमता के धनी मेधावी महिलाएं और पुरुष हैं जिन्होंने जीवन के विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में उत्कृष्टता हासिल की है। यदि समुचित परिवेश और अवसर उपलब्ध कराए जाए तो ये प्रतिभाशील नागरिक राष्ट्रीय निर्माण में उल्लेखनीय योगदान कर सकते हैं। The name of this day should have been the International Day of Persons with Special Abilities. This has to be changed. And I suggest to United Nations and also governments think about it seriously and change this day as persons with special abilities. I would suggest all schools to consider adopting this. It would be a good way to inculcate sensitivity towards the disability among the children early in their lives. Further, to change the social attitude towards this disability, we need to create greater awareness about people who have scaled greater heights in different spheres like music, mathematics, science, sports and mountaineering. Compliment the Minister and his deputies, the Secretary and our other colleagues and various state governments who are doing a good job, and then I urge upon all of them to further accelerate this, speed it up, widen it up, scale it up and take care of these sections of the society. That is the only thing which we can do for them, and if you do it, they can do better for them and for the country. Because every section must be empowered. Inclusive growth is the need of the hour. That is the objective of the Prime Minister and the government. So we must all work together in that direction to achieve the object.
The Income Tax Department processed as many as 2.1 crore tax refund cases, returning back over 1.46 lakh crore in the first 8 months of 2019-20. This was 20% more than last year. Officials of the Central Board of Direct Taxes said that the centralized processing center has expedited the process. Between April 2019 and 28th of November, the CPC processed 4.7 crore tax returns as opposed to 3.91 crore returns in the same period last year. Of the 2.10 crore refunds processed in 2019-20, 68% of refunds were issued within 30 days from the date of the e-verification of income tax return, as compared to 57% for the same period in the financial year 2018-19. All refunds have been directly credited to the taxpayers' bank accounts by ECS, eliminating paper check and ensuring faster, accurate and safer credit, according to officials. Seeking investment from global players, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said on Tuesday that the government is open to further reforms for making India a more attractive investment destination. Speaking at the India-Sweden Business Summit in New Delhi, the Finance Minister said the government has taken various steps, including reduction in corporate tax. She also invited Swedish firms to invest in infrastructure development projects in India, the sector in which the country plans to invest about 100 lakh crore rupees in the next 5 years. She said the government has formed a task force which will come out with a list of 10 major infrastructure projects by 15 December.
So many steps which are being taken, which should be making the Swedish businesses assured that this country is moving towards relaxing the environment for businesses to prosper. With all this said, I only can invite and assure that the Government of India is committed for further reforms, whether it is in banking sector, we're looking at various different sectors, whether it is mining, whether it is insurance and so on. These are times when in India a lot of prospects exist.
And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time.